In this video, we'll be going over the strongest faction leaders in WoW's history.
Okay.
And in order for a character to even qualify for this list, they need to have been a leader of one of the races or factions at one point in World of Warcraft history, from vanilla WoW onwards, or a co-leader.
All right.
And at number 10, we have Vol'jin.
Wait, what?
Vol'jin was a former war chief of the Horde who died at the Broken Shore to the hands of a single Felguard. So his death wasn't super grand, but he does have a nice baseline to start this list off on when it comes to strength and accomplishments. You see, Vol'jin is what's known as a Shadow Hunter, which is a super elite troll that's basically a combination of Hunter, Shadow Priest, and Shaman.
That's fucking stupid, number one. Number two, this is so... Yeah, right. This Vol'jin got killed by trash mobs. At least Varian died to Gul'dan. Like, what the fuck is this? Trash mobs.
With Bwomsamdi himself providing him his Shadow Priest powers.
Yeah.
He also has features of the Monk class, as he trained with Tyrande himself to learn how to use his bare hands as a weapon. So that's already 4 of the 12 base classes covered, which is quite the accomplishment for anyone in Warcraft lore.
Truly
and
incredible.
Makes him much more powerful than the average person.
Truly amazing.
Although I'm much more partial to actual feats of strength when describing someone's power in these kinds of videos, rather than what we're told how strong they are. Otherwise, Naru would be the strongest things ever, even though they're shown to die all the time. Vol'jin does have a handful of accomplishments. He led the assault on Zul'Aman, Northwatch Hold, and the Horde Rebellion against.
But like, we watched the Platinum WoW video about how stupid the trolls were. Who cares? Like, you're literally, you're like clearing trash mobs. This is insane.
Garrosh. But his biggest accomplishment for showing his personal strength was his defense of the Shadowpan Monastery as part of the 33. You see, in the book Shadows of the Horde, there was an army of 500 Mogu and Zandalari trolls who were laying siege to the Shadowpan Monastery.
500? That's not
and
that many.
In a ploy to buy time, Vol'jin challenged the army to honorable one-on-one combat, where he would challenge their strongest fighter to a duel. And if he lost, they could basically take the monastery no problem.
That makes sense.
So they sent in their strongest Mogu fighter to challenge him, who lost so bad that they ignored his challenge and decided to rush in with numbers anyway. And Vol'jin personally ended the battle with his bare hands, killing the enemy leader with a single monk punch.
Strongest trash
Then
mob.
after the battle, he used his healing powers to bring his human friend Tirith and Korth back to life, which is quite the list of accomplishments from a single battle. On the Broken Shore, it turns out he was actually killed by a Low of Death, who really wanted to make Sylvanas war chief. And it's heavily speculated that he was raised to a higher being to be almost on par with Aloa, and shows up from time to time in BFA. So he definitely has some nice accomplishments under his belt, raising him above normal troll status, and able to fight off a small group of enemies by himself, and the ability to bring people back to life, which definitely earns him a spot on this list. But everyone else is just kind of a monster in comparison.
What a fucking joke.
And at number 9, we have Lilian Voss, who is the current leader of the Forsaken at the end of BFA, and is like a super strong mage rogue. You see, Lilian Voss was raised by a high-ranking member of the Scarlet Crusade, and says that she studied stealth, sorcery, martial arts, anything that would make herself stronger. But then she died somehow and was raised as a Forsaken. Most likely in an accident or to a disease or something, because I can't imagine anything really killing Lilian Voss. One of her first shows of strength is when you come across her being held captive in a cage, and a member of the Scarlet Crusade comes up and says that she was ordered to be executed by her father. The Scarlet Crusade hates all undead, even those that were previously related to high-ranking members of the Crusade. And Lilian promptly just teleports out of her cage, instantly kills her captor, and then teleports back into her cage so she can sulk for a bit, proving that she was never in any danger at all, and she was right when she told the adventurer that she didn't need any help when you first talked to her. Later on in the zone, you'll come across dozens of corpses of Scarlet Crusade members who are all burning with purple fire.
But they're leveled like 12, man. Like, that's not even a big deal. Like, how's she more powerful than Vol'jin? Like, and Vol'jin's a bitch too. Yeah, right? PvP? Oh, fuck. She does have PvP scaling. She's low level. Bro, this is BFA. She should be number 1. I didn't even think of that. Oh my god.
Which is a hallmark of Lilian Voss. Because Lilian Voss is some kind of spellcaster.
Alright.
I'm not sure what kind, but it's very similar to DK and Shadow Priest stuff. And she's also a proficient rogue, as she becomes a follower in the Order Hall campaign for rogues. And here's the thing about the Scarlet Crusade members. They are not weak. The Scarlet Crusade
Yes,
has a
they
pretty
are.
high average power level, as pretty much all of them can use the light.
Yes,
which
they-
makes each Scarlet Crusade member essentially a full paladin or priest, and they are very proficient in the light. In fact, one of the strongest light users is a member of the Scarlet Crusade, or was a member anyway. So, Lilian being able to kill
Yeah,
scores of them
right.
by herself with a little difficulty
Yeah,
is
fucking
actually
right.
quite the accomplishment, because even the Lich King himself had to put in a lot of time and effort to deal with the Crusade. And during one of the last quests in the zone, she'll ask the adventurer to escort her to her father, or you'll walk up a long line of Scarlet Crusade members and just watch Lilian Voss kill all of them by herself, essentially. She is kind of super powerful. And when she finally walks up to her dad, who's a high-ranking member of the Crusade, which implies a strong power level as well, she instantly kills his guards and then slowly kills him with little effort. Later on, you'll find out that she's been killing dozens of members of the Crusade in the Playgrounds as well. She reappears as a dungeon boss in Skullomance, where she was
Stronger than
mind-controlled by a
Vol'jin.
necromancer. Basically her direct counter, as she herself is undead. And even then, she was able to snap out of it eventually and kill him.
That's some bullshit.
So while Vol'jin definitely had some
That's
nice feats of
stupid.
strength and has the benefits of basically 3 classes,
Yeah.
I don't think Vol'jin himself would be able to walk into the heart of the Scarlet Crusade camp and kill a high-ranking member leader by himself.
Why not? Like, what do you mean? Like, Vol'jin's a fucking yeah, he could. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Vol'jin would pop off. Like, it's crazy.
So I have to put Lilian Voss just a tiny bit higher on this list.
Okay.
And at number 8, we have Malfurion, one of the leaders of the Night Elves on the Alliance
Should be like number 1.
Malfurion is basically a super powerful Archdruid and a one-man raid boss, and has quite the accomplishments to back up his high-ranking status.
There's no way.
You see, during the short novel, A Good War, where you read about
There's
the
no
Horde's
way.
perspective of them moving through Ashenvale in order to
8?
get
Should
to
be like number
Teldrassil,
2. Yeah, number 1.
every time Malfurion is brought up by a common Horde soldier, they're absolutely terrified of him.
Yeah, nobody's... Dude, Malfurion is like the most powerful druid of all time. What the fuck do you mean? Are you kidding me?
He just kind of shows up every now and then and kills a group of 20 men by himself before running away. Or before the Horde people ran away if there wasn't enough people to back him up. During one scene in that book, Malfurion is able to successfully infiltrate the heart of a Horde camp, and is in a room with Saurfang and his guards. And Saurfang is so afraid of Malfurion that he basically accepts that he's going to die then and there.
Of course.
And that there was nothing him or his guards could possibly do to beat Malfurion in front of them, as Malfurion kills his guards and collapses a building on top of him moments later. There's even one other point in the book where a Blood Elf rogue is able to prepare the perfect ambush. Malfurion was distracted. He snuck up on him perfectly and was in range where Malfurion didn't notice him at all. And when he jumps out and tries to kill him, Malfurion casually deflects his blade and knocks him on the floor, as if a fly tried to fly in his face. And then has a conversation with him before he kills him. He has such supernatural reflexes that he literally cannot be ambushed by normal people.
That's right.
And him and Sylvanas were having DBZ-style fights in the trees, throwing each other 20 feet in the air. He just has supernatural strength and senses, in addition to his ability to control nature itself. The only reason Saurfang was able to strike a killing blow on him is because he was in the middle of a battle with Sylvanas, and Saurfang himself is worth about 5 fighters in one. So a super powerful, almost demigod definitely makes this list, and is only beaten out by people who just have better feats of strength. And at number 7, we have Bolvar, who was the High Lord and Regent in Kingdom of Stormwind during Vanilla WoW when Varian was missing. Now, for this list, we'll be going over the strongest versions of these faction leaders, and not necessarily
Bolvar
how strong
should
they
be like
were.
number 17 or something. Like, because like you have like, remember like whenever we had Anduin Wrynn, whenever he was 8 years old. I think Anduin Wrynn at fucking 8 years old in Stormwind Keep probably ranks higher than Bolvar. Like, I don't even want to see this. Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, fucking, this is a joke.
When they were faction leaders. Now, Bolvar used to be a paladin, but is probably not stronger than Vol'jin. He was a decent paladin, he was pretty good too, but he wasn't on the same tier as the number 10 on this list, for example. It wasn't until after he died and got raised, and then acquired powerful artifacts, that he really came into his own with being a powerful being. And I will be including items and equipment and outside borrowed power for this list.
Of course.
So technically, High Tinker Mechatork with his mech suit would definitely be counted for this list. I'd say that he was a strong contender for the number 10 spot with Vol'jin as well.
Uh-huh.
But I think Vol'jin just has a little bit more advantages in feats of strength that put him over a giant mech suit.
He's in a robot.
So if we include the
right.
Helm of Domination into Bolvar's power,
Yeah.
he gains two very distinct benefits. One of them is the ability to control a nearly unlimited army of undead, and
Okay.
two is the enhanced psychic abilities it gives him, as you could see him during the Shadowlands cinematic throwing gigantic icicles at Sylvanas with his mind.
Well, does it matter if you can throw them if they just miss every time? Like, what's even the point? It's embarrassing.
He also has access to a whole bunch of powerful artifacts and minions, as he's basically responsible for handing over two artifact weapons in Legion, one for Fire Mages and Death Knights.
Yeah.
He gives Fire Mages Fel and Malorn, and is involved in helping Frost Death Knights create the Blades of the Fallen
with the,
Prince, with the pieces of the Broken Frostmourne. He's
yeah.
also able to raise Death Knights. His high-ranking Death Knights can raise Death Knights, and an army of Valkyrie
Yeah.
that can create even more undead. And he
That's
has
a lot.
gigantic skeletal dragons at his command,
Uh-huh.
which even helped some of his Death Knights acquire further mounts. So the real power in Bolvar is his army, and his army could probably help him defeat all the other spots on this list easily. Maybe.
Except for
There is another
fucking
person who will
Vanus.
appear on this list who was able to take him
Yeah.
down. Individually, with just the Helm of Domination, he definitely has above average power. He could easily be on the same tier as Vol'jin or much stronger, and of course his great psychic capabilities that allow him to throw gigantic boulders with his mind definitely puts him on a high scale of power scaling. Not as
That's like, I honestly, like, if I fucking played a Death Knight, as soon as I saw that cinematic, I'd have deleted it. I'd have just deleted it. Like, that's fucking... That's bullshit, man. Like, I'd just delete that character, play something else.
high as Arthas, though. There are a lot of people who assume Bolvar is just as strong as Arthas,
Yeah,
which
he's
is not
not.
true at all, because Arthas also had the Frostmourne, which was a super powerful rune blade that made him even more overpowered.
Well, also...
Bolvar only has the helm, which I
Fuck,
think
Arthas was like the fucking badass paladin. Like, Bolvar really was not that badass. Like, because you would assume Bolvar and Dranosh Sarfang are about equal power level. And the Lich King literally fucking one-shot him. The Lich King would have one-shot Bolvar. It would have been like, no big fucking deal. Like, that's all there is to it. Yeah, no, listen, just admit it, guys. Like, Arthas as the Lich King is probably, yeah, the most badass one.
only slightly makes him stronger than Malfurion. And even then, I might be being a bit generous putting him above the Archdruid. Although
No,
if we add in his
Malfurion's more
unstoppable
powerful,
undead
100%.
army, he would probably take number one, but I'm kind of stripping him of the army capability and just judging him on his
I would say
power with
Malfurion's
his
more powerful
super
than
powerful
Bolvar.
weapons and artifacts, which puts him at number 7 on this list. So as long as he just doesn't let someone come up to him before his army is able to wear him out, he should have no problem beating anyone. And at number 6, we have Tyrande. This is the other Night Elf leader alongside Malfurion, and she is
like
a very
number
powerful
1.
priest who recently got a super buff to become the
Are you
Avatar of
kidding me?
Vengeance. You see, before her Avatar of
Yeah,
Vengeance
right.
upgrade, she was already incredibly strong, and
She's a
considered to
fucking-
be on the same tier as Malfurion himself. In fact, part of the reason the
Yeah.
Horde never tried to fight the Night Elves in the first place is because they thought it was impossible to take the city as long as Tyrande and Malfurion were both there.
Yeah.
When Malfurion was defeated by a tag team of Saurfang and Sylvanas, Tyrande was trying her best to find him in the middle of a gigantic forest, and was
Yeah.
able to use her priestly clairvoyance to find his exact location in an instant.
This horseshit, like, Tyrande is like the fucking chosen priestess of Elune, the Night Warrior. Like, if you played Warcraft 3, you know Tyrande has to be in the top fucking 3. I think Malfurion and Tyrande are basically the same power level, right? It depends on what is. There's not simp, but it's fucking true though. I mean, she's badass. This is some horse shit, man. Like, they're ranking all the Alliance ones low. Man, this is fucked.
And then when she got there, she was able to instantly disable Saurfang and freeze him in
This
place with
is
her light
fucked.
magic. And Saurfang himself is equivalent
man,
to about 5 average
this is
soldiers.
fucked.
So he's pretty strong too. It's just Tyrande is so much stronger.
Saurfang is not strong. He's an old fucking man. He's like a 64-year-old warrior. Like, I'm sorry, but he's not going to do anything. Like, he's a 64-year-old. Like, really? I'm sorry, but he's an old fucking man. He doesn't do anything. Like, there's no warrior in the entire fucking Warcraft universe that's worth a shit. Like, before you say Broxagar, the only reason Broxagar did anything is the axe that Cenarius, who, by the way, wasn't a warrior, gave him. Varian? Give me a fucking break. Varian died to trash mobs and he got disenchanted by Gul'dan? No, warriors in this game suck.
And then, after the burning of her city, she underwent a forbidden ritual to gain the
Yeah.
dark powers of her god, which seemingly made her more powerful.
Exactly.
You see, we were told she got an incredible power boost. We saw her kill a whole bunch of Horde soldiers afterwards, but she could
Yeah.
already do that. And she didn't really do anything that she couldn't have done before. Basically, all she did was beat up Nathanos and a Valkyrie, but she was already stronger than Nathanos and all the Valkyries, and she had the help of Malfurion, who could also do that solo. We haven't really seen her do anything with this new power yet, but we've been told it's very strong, and since she was already equivalent to Malfurion in the past, I thought I'd have to put her a little bit higher on this list, as she should be stronger than her husband now, and should also be stronger than a psychic using Death Knight.
The thing is, though...
And at number 5, we have
No.
Thrall,
Yeah,
former
right.
leader of the Horde.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Is this a joke, dude? Like, what? Thrall? He should be number fucking 9. You think Thrall? You think Thrall could beat fucking Bolvar? Yeah, give me a fucking break, dude. Thrall could beat Malfurion? Imagine if Thrall could beat Malfurion. Yeah, right, dude. What a fucking joke. Dude, this is horseshit. This is the biggest horseshit list I've ever seen.
Temporary avatar of the Earth. You see, the time period we're putting Thrall on this
look
list
at that.
in
He
is
used a
during the
magic
Cataclysm when he
pancake.
was taking over the duties of the Earth Warden for Deathwing, before all the aspects lost their power. And Thrall was given the Dragon Soul in order to shoot Deathwing out of the sky,
Doesn't make-
thanks to the combined power of all the dragon aspects with him channeling the power of the Earth, and
Yeah.
Deathwing himself made on the list of the top 10 strongest raid bosses in lore. So, being able to blast a hole through him is quite the accomplishment.
That was the thing.
Although this was an incredible temporary power boost,
Yeah.
with a weapon that kind of completely countered him, which really blurs the line in which power-up should be allowed for this list.
That's not even...
Because
no.
this would also let him kill basically everyone else in the list as well.
That's like saying... That's like rating all MMA fighters and then saying, oh, I'm better than all of them because I have a gun. It doesn't work that way. Like, it's not even Thrall's weapon. Like, it doesn't... It's so stupid. Yeah, right. Like, Thrall doesn't have a fucking chance. Listen, I get Thrall's the most powerful shaman of all time. But what do shamans really do? They do the same thing that druids can do, and they're not as cool. Druids are just cooler. They can do more crazy shit. And Malfurion is so fucking powerful, he's literally got antlers growing out of his head. How the fuck does Thrall have that? Thrall has the exact... His thing's falling out of his head. He's losing his fucking hair. This... No, man. Like, Sylvanas sized up Thrall. And you know what she sent to kill Thrall in the cinematic? 3 rogues. That's it. 2 rogues. That's sad, man.
See, outside of his temporary avatar of Earth State,
What a bunch of
Thrall is
shit.
still pretty strong.
No.
He was trained to be a battle expert his whole life and was given tons of experience in arenas for the
Yeah.
amusement of people.
It's very powerful.
And he was able to liberate all of the Orc internment
Thrall
camps
is very
that he
powerful.
engaged, and learned how to control
not
the
that powerful.
elements in order to add lightning and fire to his entourage of abilities.
Yeah.
Although this would only really put Thrall at the same tier as Vol'jin early in his career.
Yeah.
But by the Cataclysm, he was a world-renowned shaman, and at one point was asked by Ysera, the dragon aspect, to go to a Night Elf village in order to stop a rampaging fire elemental that they weren't able to deal with themselves. And Thrall considered this task to be very easy, to the point where he questioned why they were bothering to send him to do it in the first place. And it ended up being a good bonding opportunity with him and the Night Elves. But this should show a little something about how strong Thrall was in this time period, where something an entire Night Elf village wasn't able to handle was considered a small matter by Thrall. Thrall also fought on the back of Caligos in order to kill scores of Twilight Dragons when...
That's not a big deal. Like, number one, that's not a big fucking deal at all. On top of that, he was fighting Garrosh. Garrosh was beating the shit out of him. Garrosh would have beat his fucking ass. And Garrosh is like not even as strong of a fighter as Varian was in the story, I'm pretty sure. He's getting his ass beat by a warrior. And Thrall had to pull out some fucking magic shit to come out ahead.
The aspects were fighting Fomantis, a 5-headed dragon who had the powers of all the other aspects. In order to defeat it, they needed to combine the powers of all the aspects, but obviously they couldn't use Deathwing, so they asked Thrall to substitute in his place, and he was able to fulfill the role of the aspect of Earth to everyone's surprise. And when Jaina was trying to destroy Orgrimmar with a gigantic tidal wave made of hundreds of water elementals, Thrall was able to single-handedly hold it back, which was only possible because he had the power to do it himself, if he wanted to, and could match Jaina. And Thrall has a whole bunch of other small feats of strength since he's basically one of the main protagonists of World of Warcraft. So there's many instances of him using power to do stuff. So a super powerful shaman who was strong enough to substitute as the aspect of Earth and hold back a city-destroying tidal wave definitely deserves a spot on this list. Even if in the current timeline he can't actually use his shaman powers right now. They kind of had to nerf Thrall, otherwise he'd just solve all of the world's problems by himself. Now, since his video's about power scaling, I couldn't really ask for a better sponsor for today's video than Crunchyroll, as power scaling and anime go hand in hand. Now, Crunchyroll is a great place to watch anime on any device you might have, as I routinely watch it on my tablet whenever I'm eating, and I've pretty much been an active user of the site since 2013. So if you use my sign-up link, crunchyroll.com/Hirumaredx, you can start your 2-week free trial. And you can watch all kinds of anime with super powerful characters as well, all professionally subtitled and going up an hour after they go live in Japan.
Great.
Especially the most anticipated second season of anime in this season, ReZero, which is all about a guy who gets transported to another world but doesn't have superpowers and was sent into a hard mode version of a fantasy world. So it's very entertaining to see how he gets himself out of various life and death situations, all in full HD 1080p on any mobile device you might have. So make sure you use my sign up link crunchyroll.com/Hirumaredx to start your 2-week free trial as we continue on with our super powerful characters in WoW. And at number 4, we have Jaina Proudmoore, leader of Kulturas, former leader of Theramore, definitely one of the head Alliance leaders and one of the most powerful mages living on Azeroth. Now, Jaina has tons of feats.
Bro, I thought Jaina was going to be number 1. I was thinking, like, what? Like, Jaina could be number 1. Who the fuck is more powerful than Jaina? Give me a fucking break. Yeah, right. Like, yeah, fucking right.
Strength, and even a couple that involve her wielding a powerful artifact.
This is crazy.
Like the time she almost destroyed Orgrimmar with a gigantic tidal wave thanks to having the focusing iris on her. As she would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for Thrall stopping her. Although, to be fair, he was only able to barely stop her, and she could have easily pushed past him if she just decided to kill him to stop his channeling, which she almost did do before she got stopped by her boyfriend. Jaina is also seen raising a boat from the bottom of the ocean by herself in the Warbringer cinematic.
That's crazy.
During the battle for Lordaeron, she's seen controlling the boat with her magical powers in order to single-handedly turn the tide of the battle into the Alliance's favor.
And that's number 3?
By temporarily freezing all of the plague and destroying the city walls by herself. And she was also the final raid boss in a raid, which is a distinction only given to super powerful people, as she fights the combined forces of the Horde in the middle of the sea after staging a successful attack on the city and killing the Horde
Garrosh wasn't
leader.
that powerful.
Now, Jaina has feats of strength for days. She's another one of the main characters of World of Warcraft, so she appears a lot and often.
100%,
and a lot of her feats of strength are shown very prominent to all players who don't really have to dig around for it in obscure lore books, like you do with the Malfurion or Vol'jin, for example. When it comes to power scaling of characters, Jaina is always powerful.
Stupid.
There are many moments in lore where she just completely destroys small groups of soldiers by herself.
Yeah, because she's a fucking mage.
And
it's
is an
AoE
absolute
farming.
one-man army. The only people that beat Jaina when it comes to strength are ones who have nearly godlike levels of power.
Exactly.
And at number 3, we have Sylvanas Windrunner, former leader of the Horde and Forsaken. Now, Sylvanas has always been a powerful character,
I would say
although
Jaina's
her strength
probably
is
stronger than
inconsistently
Sylvanas.
shown in game, just like a few other parts of Sylvanas' character. You see, Sylvanas has Banshee powers and can kill people with a single scream. She's also a Dark Ranger, which is basically a normal hunter that has dark magic powers as well. And she's the strongest of the bunch, and was the leader of the Rangers when she was still alive. In Wrath of the Lich King, she's shown to be powerful.
But when she was still alive, you remember Arthas fucking beat the shit out of her? Like, that wasn't even hard, man. Like, the JR has all the powers. It's not even about that. Like, I never really thought, like, in my mind, I would rank it like Tyrande, fucking Jaina. Like, Tyrande, Malfurion, pretty much the same. Jaina under that, and then Sylvanas. Like, that's what I would, and then, like, Thrall under that. That's what I would rank it in my head.
Enough to fight with Arthas by herself for a while, before she realizes that he had gotten even stronger since the last time they met and had to run away.
Yeah.
And she's the character the Horde players interact with when you're trying to escape from Arthas during the Halls of Reflection, as you basically just hold off his minions while she destroys gigantic ice walls by herself.
Yeah.
Then in the Cataclysm, she got shot in the back of the head by a normal Forsaken and killed. Granted, if Jaina was shot in the back of the head, she would die too, but this doesn't look good for power scaling, and will definitely lead to a lot of people to think Sylvanas is a lot weaker than she's supposed to be.
It's hard to know.
Although the writers probably forgot she's supposed to be stronger.
He did
than
have a
that,
gun,
too.
though.
During Legion, she's shown fighting Genn Greymane over a lantern. While Genn Greymane isn't able to kill her, he is able to thwart her plans and steal away her magic lantern.
Like, I'm losing to a dog. Like, imagine getting outmaneuvered by a dog. Like, and this is supposed to be like our fucking, tactician general here. Loses to like it's a big dog, but it's still a motherfucking dog. Like, give me a break, man.
Even though she's supposed to be way stronger than him. During the short novel, A Good War, Sylvanas is the sole reason Malfurion runs away in Ashenvale whenever they're having altercations.
Right.
And she's the only member of the Horde who was able to match him in power, and was constantly hunting him down the entire time, and was even shown throwing him through the trees in a few occasions. During the end of the BFA campaign, Sylvanas is shown easily defeating Saurfang without any effort, although that's not really out of the ordinary. She was supposed to be that strong baseline. And then during the cinematic for Shadowlands...
What do you mean? Like, Saurfang's an old motherfucking man. Like, that's a... Yeah, right. Like, it wasn't even hard. Yeah, fucking right. Of course Saurfang was gonna lose.
And Sylvanas is shown easily defeating Bolvar. And it's also implied that she defeated all of the minions on top of the tower, and that they just cut to the part where Bolvar and Sylvanas were having the final bout.
So it doesn't matter.
And then after she destroys the Helm of Domination, we basically learn that she had been gaining power from the Jailer the whole time.
Yeah, of course.
A super powerful being who has mastery over death, and is possibly in the same league of power as the Titans. So if Sylvanas was already supposed to be on the same tier as Malfurion, and then received a super boost from the Jailer, that would put her
Damn, she's hot. Like, why didn't they make her look like this in WoW? Like, she's way fucking hotter here. Holy shit.
Really above Jaina in power scaling. But that's all I would bump her up in the rating to.
Yeah,
we still don't really know exactly how much stronger she's gotten thanks to the Jailer's power.
Yeah,
but it's safe to say that she is stronger than Jaina now, considering in some of the Shadowlands beta stuff, Jaina, Thrall, Tyrande, and a few other faction leaders were captured and pulled into the maw by Sylvanas. The only two faction leaders who could beat out Sylvanas are maybe not that much stronger. If anything, the top three could all be about equal in power scaling.
Okay,
so
that's number 2.
Keep that in mind as I go on to the next 2 spots. And at number 2, we have Velen, leader of the Draenei on the Alliance side. Now, Velen is another one of those who's on this list thanks to powerful items he has under his control. In addition to the fact that Velen baseline is also pretty strong too.
Yeah, okay.
His own feats of strength include, when the Legion was attacking his home city, he was able to single-handedly create an invulnerable barrier that killed any demon that came near it.
I mean, Valen's I take a piss. Valen's a fucking badass, dude. But, like, I mean, let's be honest. If he's such a fucking badass, why didn't he just kill Jaina on his own? I mean, I think he'd be like number 3 or 4. I'm so torn on this one, man.
He is also a super powerful healer who's teaching the leader of the Alliance how to better handle his light powers.
Okay.
He is well loved by the Naaru, who are super powerful agents of the light and are probably descendants of the Light Lords, and most likely the source of all light magic on Azeroth. During the Mage Tower scenario for the tanks, Velen is there to help tanks kill the boss. He is also shown killing a boss level character by himself as he tries to run away by just dispelling the invulnerable CC on himself through sheer force of will. While the players are fighting the Avatar of Sargeras, Velen alongside Illidan and Khadgar are fighting Kil'jaeden. And at the end of Tomb of Sargeras...
That's fucking Illidan doing it. I would say, like, Illidan... Like, Illidan fucking deleted a Naaru. Like, that's way... Like... Yeah, fucking right, dude. Like, Naru was supposed to be like the most powerful fucking, like, that's Illidan 100%. Velen was just back there like, you know, like, who gives a fuck?
He runs off by himself to confront Kil'jaeden, and you see him fighting off hordes of demons by himself alongside powerhouses like Illidan during the final fight.
Yeah.
In fact, he was so capable that he was able to change the mind of Kil'jaeden, who had given up the hope that Sargeras could possibly be defeated someday.
Too late.
Something which he previously thought was impossible.
Fucking too late,
In alternate
though.
universe, Velen was strong enough that his sacrifice was able to purify a corrupted Naru. And to top it all off, Velen has orbital strikes. Velen had control of the Vindikar, which was used to great effect in
So Velen could get rid of the corrupted Naru, but Illidan disenchants it, and Velen's that powerful? Think about how powerful Illidan is.
in order to do tactical orbital strikes. Basically, Velen could have killed anyone on Azeroth at any moment's notice as long as they weren't underground, because the power of an orbital strike from a spaceship is kind of unbeatable. Although, canonically, the Vindikar burned out its power matrix when it blasted open the entrance to Antorus, the Burning Throne.
Yeah.
So its orbital strike capabilities are actually not functional during Battle for Azeroth, which is why it was only used to transport troops during the war, and is kind of loosely under control of the Lightforged Draenei now in Turalion. Although borrowed power is totally okay on this list, even if they only had it for a limited amount of time, so it still counts as part of Velen's arsenal in determining his power scaling.
Okay.
So Velen is a combination
of
of being physically powerful, blessed by the light,
Yeah.
and having the best technological advantage over anyone. So, Velen could have easily taken the #1 spot on this list if it wasn't for Garrosh quite possibly cheating so hard. And at #1, we have Y'Shaarj-infused Garrosh. Garrosh was a former leader of the Horde and temporarily fused himself with the most powerful Old God, and required the combined might of all of the Horde and Alliance leaders plus a group of legendary adventurers in order to take him down.
No, like 100% no. Like, what about Arthas? Like, I mean, the thing is, if you go by, because like Arthas was like the prince, right? And he killed the king, so that means Arthas would have been the fucking king, right? Because if King Tyrannus dies, then Arthas is the king. You see what I mean? Faction leaders? Well, isn't he the leader of Lordaeron? That makes him I guess, all right. Maybe it doesn't really count, but like, I don't know. All right, whatever. Okay.
As you know, adventurers in lore are actually a thing and supposed to be super powerful beings. Basically, all of the other previous people on this list were required in order to help take down Garrosh.
Yeah.
And there's even a point in his fight where he shows you a vision of the future in which he wins, and successfully kills all of the faction leaders by himself, and impaled them on spikes in Stormwind.
That's true.
So, if it wasn't for the help of adventurers, they would have been screwed.
Yeah.
And with his Y'Shaarj-infused body, it's very reasonable to assume he'd be able to survive an orbital strike. And Garrosh also had lots of good technology. He completely embraced goblin technology created by Blackfuse.
Yep.
And in fact, it was thanks to this technology that he was able to create the Iron Horde into the threat it became. He literally just brought all of the goblins.
Literally wasn't a threat at all. I mean, like, that really wasn't. That was like yeah, right. Yeah, fucking
technology
right.
With
dude.
him to allow him to steamroll everything, and became a legitimate threat to the real world.
Right.
So, Garrosh has the benefits of good technology and borrowed power, and his borrowed power was just shown to be a lot stronger than everyone else's so far.
Yeah, of course, because it's an
for
old
now,
god.
he takes #1 spot on this list. Although, like I said in the Sylvanas segment, it could easily be argued that the top 3 spots are all pretty within line of each other.
I don't know, man.
Because we don't know the full potential of Sylvanas' new power, and orbital strikes by Velen were only around for a short time. But then again, so was the infusion of Y'Shaarj with Garrosh, so that doesn't really matter much. Alright, and that's the list. Do you think there's any other faction leaders who are much stronger that should have made this list? If so, I'd love to hear about why and their accomplishments down in the comments, as the #10 spot is probably hotly debated, and ideas for future videos just like this one.
Okay.
And also, did you know only 32% of people who watch these videos are actually subscribed to the channel?
I'm gonna link the video. We're gonna talk about this, all right? We're gonna talk about this real quick. Okay, let me just do the Garrosh video first, okay?
Did you know that Garrosh was the greatest war chief of all time?
I did know that.
Just
Everybody
not
knows
in
that.
our timeline. You see, in the Mag'har Orc recruitment scenario, Anachronis, the Bronze Dragon,
Yeah, he
tells
was
us
the best.
In countless potential
was.
timelines, he was seen as a great hero to his people.
Because he was.
Some called him the Horde's greatest war chief.
Absolutely.
What you saw here was one of his worst possible incarnations.
Blizzard literally admitting that they fucked up.
A waste. In
Yep,
the majority of
they
other
sure did.
timelines in which Garrosh was alive,
They wasted
and
their
didn't
fucking
die
time.
from the plague, he became an excellent war chief, just
That's
like
right.
what Thrall said he'd be,
Uh-huh.
and even united the Horde in alliance and ended hostilities.
What?
The Garrosh we got was literally just the worst possible version.
Yeah.
If you were to time travel to a random other timeline in
He
the
did
Warcraft
nothing wrong.
universe during the same time period, there's a good chance the timeline you come across would be a peaceful one led by Garrosh.
Absolutely.
If we happen to meet a dead version of Garrosh in the Shadowlands,
Yep.
there's probably a high chance that we'll meet a good one, since
Mm-hmm.
the one we got in our timeline is a rare exception, not the rule. And it's almost hilarious that one of the most hated villains in Warcraft could have so easily gone
He
in a
wasn't the
different
most
direction.
hated. He was the
Now,
best.
some hints of this can be seen in Cataclysm
Yeah.
during the very first iteration
was the
of
fucking
Garrosh
best.
as War Chief. As if you quest in the Stone Talon Mountains, at the end of the quest chain, an orc
100%.
bombs a night out village, and Garrosh comes down himself
Mm-hmm.
in order to reprimand him for his mistake,
Yep.
and even lectures him about how that's not how the Horde does things, even though he does something even worse just one expansion later.
Well, that's...
Watch now, Cliffwalker.
Yeah.
As this battle comes to its glorious conclusion.
He just sends over the bomb.
You are about to cross a terrible threshold, Cromgar.
Oh my god.
Earth Mother have mercy on your
He just-
soul. What have you done, Cromgar?
Oh shit.
War Chief, I
Oh,
was carrying out
shit.
Your command.
My command
Look at this, dude.
was my command to murder innocents, Cromgar.
This is Big Dick Garrosh right here,
War
man.
Chief, sir, I.
Am I a murderer, Cromgar?
Yes, actually, but you're still cool.
No, War Chief.
Then I ask you again, what have you done? I sent you into Stone Talon Mountains with an army.
Look at him,
Your
dude,
orders
trembling.
were to secure this land for the Horde.
Yeah, dude.
Instead,
Garrosh.
you laid waste to the land, murdered innocents, children even. I spent a very long time in Northrend, Cromgar.
Look at this
I
badass
learned
motherfucker,
much
dude.
about the
He
Horde
was
in
so
that time.
he's so fucking badass, man. He is
While
so
there,
fucking badass.
a wise old war hero told me something that I would carry
That's
with
Sarfang.
me forever.
Yep.
Honor, Cromgar. No matter how dire the battle,
Fucking Sarfang,
never
man.
forsake it. Overlord Cromgar, you have disgraced the Horde. You have brought shame
Make him
to
suck
us
his
as
own
a
dick.
people. By my right as War Chief, I hereby relieve you of duty.
He just throws that bitch off the cliff.
You are
Sparta!
dismissed. And you.
Wait, War Chief, please. This is the hero responsible for uncovering this corruption. This one tried to stop Cromgar.
Yeah, that's right.
Have mercy, War Chief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mercy. Your wife and child were murdered. Your kin wiped out. Your home burned to the ground.
That sucks.
Mercy. Chieftain, on this day, I learn from you. Cromgar's army is no more. Your rank no longer has meaning.
Look at this. This guy was such
if you
a fucking
wish to
badass,
truly
dude.
help the Horde,
He was such
your
a fucking
considerable
badass.
power could be used in Desolus.
Like,
or
this
in
is
the
why you
southern
joined the
areas.
Horde.
The choice
This was
is yours to make.
This was it, man.
Let honor
This is why Garrosh was my
guide you.
favorite character in the
Do
whole
not
story.
forget that Hellscream's eyes are always upon you.
He's so fucking badass.
And in an interview with the developer who created that quest chain, He talks about how the direction for Garrosh
Yeah.
wasn't really communicated well to everyone while writing the quests,
Yeah.
including himself.
That's true.
Because you see, when they first introduced Garrosh to the game, they had planned for him to be a perfect version of Garrosh Hellscream. So
Yeah.
they had really wanted to add him to the game, but couldn't since he was already dead. So they
Right.
thought they had an excellent opportunity with the son of Garrosh, and wanted him to be more like the polar opposite of Thrall in personality,
Yeah.
but still wanted what was best for the Horde, just to give more contrast to Thrall. But as development and story went along, Thrall kind of went in another direction than they originally planned.
he's stupid.
And Garrosh couldn't really be his opposite anymore. So they shifted gears and decided to make him more like the Horde's version of Varian instead, who himself was very brash and aggressive.
Yeah,
during
and
this time
Varian was
period.
cool, though.
So when the developer went off to write the
yeah.
Stone Talon quest, he still remembered the future plans they had for
Yeah.
Garrosh from when he was first created, and kind of created the quest chain based on that.
Exactly.
And then after it was all done and out, he found that they had kind of changed the direction of Garrosh into something else, and that there was a huge miscommunication
changed
that
it
was
into
never
some
cleared up
horseshit.
because they didn't think they had to clear it up with one of the people who helped create Garrosh in the first place.
Exactly.
A quote from an interview he did with Blizzard Watch: "I did Stone Talon. I didn't think the path with Garrosh. Not everyone was on board. Not everyone got the memo, as
That's
it were.
so
As we were
stupid.
designing, and
That's
that was
so
my fault.
dumb, man.
Because when you're trying,
That's
because I was
so
actually
dumb.
trying to bring Garrosh around, and Stone Talon was going to be the
Yeah.
first of that. Cataclysm was a pretty crazy time period for us. We did quite a lot of work, so I feel like there was a little bit
Exactly.
of miscommunication on my part that kind of led to Garrosh going down another, darker path. So there's an interesting tidbit for you. The interviewer goes on to say, it was interesting though, in the aspect of
Yeah,
seeing that
that's some
glimmer
horse
of what
shit.
could have been. Well, he was
Some
good at the other
straight-up
way. He
motherfucking
did well
horse
at
shit.
that. He was a good killer and plunderer and murderer.
Uh-huh.
So really, the mention of Garrosh in the Mag'har Orc scenario could just be a reference to Garrosh's original design idea. It was originally meant to be a heroic and
Exactly.
honorable character, and a way for them to
Exactly.
introduce some of the old leaders of the Horde without having to bring them back to life.
Yeah.
And this change was supposed to happen in Cataclysm, but then Blizzard
See, like, that's the thing, dude, is like Zach and I rolled on Thrall because Thrall in Warcraft 3 was like that Garrosh. He was this big, badass motherfucker. He could shoot chain lightning. He rode on a wolf. He was friends with everybody. He got along. He made shit happen. And I was like, what server do you want to roll on, Zach? He's like, let's go with Thrall. And I said, good idea. And we immediately went over there. Yeah, Thrall, and then they fucking changed Thrall from doing that, and like now they're kind of bringing Thrall back to be kind of, you know, the way he should have been the whole fucking time. And dude, like basically the less hair Thrall had, the dumber his character was. Like that's basically how, like, and then now that he has more hair, like the character's better. Like I'm not even kidding. Like the less hair, they literally made him dumber with less hair.
decided to change their mind on that, and not everyone got
Yeah.
the memo. But this doesn't change the fact that, canonically, the
Right.
timeline we take place in is one of the worst ones.
Exactly.
Which is probably why there's so many world-ending scenarios happening all the time.
Yeah.
Although, all the other timelines can probably thank our timeline for defeating the Legion, which was a threat that threatened all of the timelines, so
Right.
something good came out of it.
I
Now,
guess
I'm
so.
curious about everyone else's opinion on Garrosh. Personally, I think he's a great
best.
character. He's just a really good character to hate.
Fuck
and I
yeah,
think it's
dude.
a hilarious contrast that he's loved in all the other timelines.
Fuck yeah.
To the point where I can't even see it happening. Do you think we should have an in-game scenario where we could go to one of these other timelines to
No.
see and get a glimpse of what could have
No,
been?
I think that'd be
Definitely
silly.
not another time travel expansion, but
I wouldn't
something to
wanna
get
see
more
that.
information on the perfect version of Garrosh.
Yeah.
This video was edited by the Flying Buttress. Links to his channel and stuff in the video description if you liked his work. And also,
I don't like it whenever they do alternate timelines. I'm not a fan of alternate timelines at all.
fun fact, did you know only 28.5% of people who watch these videos are actually subscribed to the channel?
Really? Well, I'm actually subbed. Look at that. All right, number one, I think, here's my list, all right? Like, let me think if there's anybody else that I missed. Number's 8 on the list. He's a demigod in lore. Yeah, he's nerfed so heavily in game because of plot armor. Yeah, but like he did get 1v1 by Xavius, but Xavius is a fucking nightmare lord though. Like, I mean, that's kind of hard to deal with. Khadgar is not even Khadgar would be number probably like, Khadgar is probably more powerful than any of these guys. Because Khadgar was able to fucking outmaneuver Medivh, who's the guardian of the fucking Tearsfall. Like, if you put Khadgar on the list, he's number 100%. Like, Khadgar is more powerful than basically anybody else in the entire story. And on top of that, he's not, I know he's not like a fucking leader, but you guys see what I'm saying though. Malfurion should have been higher than Bolvar. He should have been higher than fucking Thrall.
Something about
Thrall and his fucking bald ass head. You really think Thrall? Yeah, fucking right, dude. Yeah, fucking right. Thrall number 5. Thrall should be number 10. Thrall should be number 9. He should be number 9. Like, probably weaker than Lilian Voss. I probably number 8. I'd say Thrall will be number 8. And then Malfurion will be way fucking higher up there. I'd say Malfurion would probably be number 3. Like, I would say Malfurion probably more powerful than Sylvanas. I don't really know, though. It's hard to say. Bolvar took one for the team and became the Lich King. Yeah, exactly, dude. Let's see. So the most powerful, like... Okay. So what's the most powerful, like, Horde leader? Dude. Who's, I mean, besides Sylvanas, right? But, like, Cairn? No, man. That guy got fucking poisoned and he died. Who gives a fuck about that? Kael'thas? I mean, maybe Kael? I don't know. Like, Tharissa? Maybe Tharissa is pretty powerful. Yeah, I'd say so. I don't know, man. I feel like just in general... Man, dude... I would put Velen as number 2. Like, this actually does kind of make sense. Like, Velen as number 2 does kind of make sense. To be fair, I think it does. But Karen was... What's this here? Grom killed a demigod? Hello? Yeah. Karen would beat the shit out of Garrosh if he wasn't poisoned? Yeah, of course he would have. Because he's a fucking Tauren. I don't know, man. Gammon? No, not Gammon. Lorthamar Theron? Didn't that guy get captured by some trolls or some shit? Who gives a fuck about him? I think Malfurion and Tyrande being really low was dumb. Like, I think, like, really, the most questionable one here, besides Garrosh infused with Yasiraj, that's kind of hard to say, right? But, like, is Thrall. Like, Thrall, give me a fucking break. Like, Thrall should be number, like, 8. Like, there's no way. He's way too high up there, man. I can't get into it. I don't think he's even close. Number 1. Gammon? No. Listen, it's not fucking Gammon. Gallywix doesn't even fucking do anything. No, I wouldn't say Gallywix for a second. Of course it's not fucking Gallywix. Like, what does he do? Nothing. He just pays other people to do stuff. That's bullshit. Okay, Orthamar's a joke, dude. Varian's a joke. Oh, man. On his power, though? Only in real life, okay? This is a video game. You're supposed to have magic and shit, to counteract that. I don't know, man. Like, this really upset me. This really fucking upset me a lot. I don't know if I can get into this. I'm so upset.